Reverse distribution, another way to think of that is factoring out the greatest common factor. So what you are thinking about is looking at 14x and looking at 50 and trying to imagine what is the greatest common factor. And another way to think about it is we're trying to go backwards. We're trying to figure out, was there a newspaper or something, and what were the two houses called before the newspaper was delivered? So there's a newspaper hiding inside of here, and we need to pull that newspaper out and set it out in the front. So what factors do these both have in common, both of these terms? They both have a 2 in common. So if I take the 2, and what would I have had to multiply the 2 by in order to then get the 14x? I would have needed to multiply by a 7x. If you want to think about that like dividing both of these by 2, you can. Just make sure you place the factor that you're dividing by in the front here, in front of the parentheses. And so we have 7x plus, well, imagine if I delivered this to this apartment, I would want to get a 50. So that means this value needs to be a 25. And I, of course, can just check this and make sure when I distribute, I get 14x. When I distribute, I get 50. Cool, cool. So reverse distribution, I'm trying to go in the reverse order. So what do all of these terms have in common? I see an A in all of them. So I will take this A and I will place it out in the front. And now I have to imagine, right now, this is 5A. What did this look like without an A? It would just be a 5. Looking at the 7AB, bring my plus sign down. 7AB, when I take the A away, I just have 7B. The negative 4A squared, okay, so I have it A times something needs to give me a negative 4A squared. So I'm going to need a negative 4, and I need another A. So I have now successfully factored an A out, and I did a reverse distribution here. Now let's look at 22ax plus 4ab plus 10a. They all have something in common. In fact, you could say they have more than one thing in common. When you are asked to do reverse distribution, you are asked to find the greatest common factor. The greatest. So if you factor out an A, you could do that. Oops. But then if you looked at all of these, there's still something in common. So then you'd want to factor out a 2. So you'd have the A still out in front, and now you would factor out a 2. Then you'd have 11x and 2b and 5. But couldn't you have just accomplished that in a faster way? Yes. So what if I noticed right away that I could take a 2a out of here, a 2a out of here, and a 2a out of here? So that's what I'll do, because 2a is my greatest common factor. So 2a times what will give me a 22ax? Well, I'll need 11, and I'll need an x. And 2a times what will give me 4ab? Well, I need a 2b. And 2a times what gives me 10a? Well, I'll just need a 5. And look, I have the same answer. This just took me 2 steps, whereas this took me 1. Before you circle your answer as a final, just make sure that there are no more common factors in any of your terms inside the parentheses. So what would be my common factor here? 3, and I distribute the 3 to a, the first term is b, 3x, and a 1. If you have 3 houses, 1, 2, 3, you should have 3 houses down here. People often forget this 1. Be careful. Don't forget it. All right, let's look at these 2 final ones. Looking at the top here, I see a couple things in common. I see a y, so I'll factor that out. Now I wonder if there's anything else that I could factor out. 44, 66, 77. Okay, I'm also going to factor out an 11. So 11y times what will give me 44by? Because I'm going to distribute to this part here, this blank, and I want it to create this. So I will want I would want a 4b. Subtract. All right, 11y times what will give me 66yx? And 11y times what will give me a 77ya? Now let's make sure that's right by just going ahead and actually distributing. 44yb, cool, minus a 66yx, cool, plus a 77ay, or ya, cool. Okay, let's look at our final one. Ooh, 36, 27, and 9. Okay, maybe I could factor out a 9, and maybe I could factor out definitely an a. Ooh, wait, this is 19a. Okay, so both of these have a factor of 9, but 19 does not. Okay, 19 does not have a factor of a. Okay, so what, can I still factor out a 9a from the front two? No. You need to factor out the same thing from all of your terms. So all you can do here is a 36a plus a 27b plus a 19. So let's check. 36a squared, 27ab, 19a. Okay, that's correct for up here. Now let's also check, before I circle my final answer, do any of these three terms, do all three of these terms have a factor in common? All three of them? No, all three of them do not have a factor in common.